everybody, welcome back. Today I am going to do a continuation of a video that I started about a month ago. Y'all would have seen, if you haven't, go back and look. It was 5 ways that we save money as a single income household. And I wanted to go ahead and do part 2 of that. When my husband and I sat down and kind of when I started that idea, we started making a list of the ways that we save money, make the money that we have go farther. And we had a long list of things. And so I just picked 5 last time, and I just decided that I would go ahead and share the next 5 things on the list. Again, I am not a financial expert by any means. The things that I know, the things that we're learning from experience, from our time as a single income household, from the fact that my husband and I both grew up in single income households. So the things that I will mention today are just based on our experience. Maybe it's something that you can use in your own family, or maybe it's just interesting to see how somebody else manages money. That's always interesting to me to see how other people do it. So anyway, so to get started on that for today, the first one that I want to talk about today revolves around food. Several of them on the last video did as well. Food is going to be a common theme. I feel like that's a great way to save money, is the way we handle our eating. The first one is eating at home versus eating out. This can be just day to day, and it can also overlap into when we travel. So as a whole, we do not go out to eat. Very rarely, especially if we're all just at home. We do not do takeout. We don't go, my husband doesn't pick up dinner on his way home from work. I cook. And yes, that involves my time and my planning, but I can always go to the grocery store and buy meat, vegetables, whatever we want to eat, and we can eat for less than it would cost us to even go to a fast food restaurant and eat seemingly inexpensive food. So it is always cheaper for us to eat at home. So we very rarely eat out. We typically save that for a special occasion. My husband and I like to go out for our anniversary, maybe for birthdays, things like that. Special occasions was when we reserve the eating out, but not as a normal part of our day-to-day life. We also try to pack food whenever we go on road trips, and so that we're not having to buy food to eat while we're traveling. That can add up really fast, even just making just a couple hour trip. My husband's family lives a few hours from where we live, and we frequently, every couple of months we will travel back and forth to go see them. And usually when we do that, unless we're able to leave at the exact right moment, we're usually traveling through a mealtime. And so if we were to stop and eat out every time or pick up food to eat in the car, that adds up really quickly. And when you look at the expense of us traveling anyways, the gas and all that, adding food to it is just one more thing. And so I try to pack sandwich stuff so that if we're going to be eating lunch or supper, whatever meal we're going to be eating out, we usually just stop at a truck stop that has a picnic table, or even just a rest area, just somewhere where we can pull off, or a city park, somewhere where we can pull off, let the kids stretch their legs, let them eat a sandwich real quick, and then we move on down the road. It's not anything gourmet, but again, it is much more cost effective for us to do that than to try to eat out. I even shared a video last week of some snacks that I had made for that very reason. We were going on a long road trip, and I wanted to have some things that were just in the car that when the kids said, "I'm hungry," I could just hand them a snack. And again, it is cheaper and much healthier for me to make those items at home to take with us, rather than trying to buy them in the store or buy them out while we're traveling. So those two things, generally eating food from home and not buying pre-made food out, whether it is from a restaurant or the snacks for traveling, whatever, however that works out. Minimizing that makes a big difference. The next thing that I want to talk about is buying food in bulk rather than buying smaller portion sizes. So this can be meats, it can be your oatmeal that you buy, anything at the grocery store. If you will look at the price per ounce or the price per pound, however it's broken down, I remember going to the grocery store with my mom, and she would sit there and have us doing mental math to work out how much it was per ounce, looking at the box and looking at the price. Now it's really convenient because stores like Walmart or even like Sam's, a lot of the stores have the price per ounce on the price tag. And so if you will just look at that, and sometimes you think, oh, well, I only need a little bit of it. But if it's something that you use regularly, if you buy the bigger container, it's a little bit cheaper per ounce or per pound. And so you end up saving money. And while maybe it's just a little bit of money, like I have said before, and I'll say it again, the little bits add up very quickly and they make large amounts of money. So if you can save a little bit on buying the larger quantity size, then then that goes a long way. One option to keep in mind when you do buy in bulk is remembering that if you're buying something like meat or something perishable, it'll freeze. You can put most things in the freezer, and thus you can benefit from buying that larger quantity at that smaller price per unit, and then you don't have to have it go bad. Now, certain items you can't freeze. I have tried things like buying cream cheese in bulk and sour cream in bulk, and those items do not freeze and rethaw well. The texture changes and it just never tastes the same. So some items you can't buy in bulk. But on the other hand, some of my favorites are to buy butter in large quantities. You can freeze butter and it thaws out and it doesn't change a bit. I like to buy oatmeal in bulk. We go through a lot of oats between the granola that I make and just the oatmeal that we eat. And so the bigger the box that I can buy, the better. And it doesn't go bad. It can sit in my pantry for an extended amount of time. When I buy wheat berries for grinding my flour, I have to order them from a store that's about an hour from us. And so if I'm going to make that travel to go get that, I usually order 75 to 100 pounds of wheat berries, and then that can sit in my freezer. Again, we have a large freezer, and so that comes in handy. But I can freeze those wheat berries, and so I don't have to worry about bugs getting in them or anything else. And then as I need it, I take it out and I use it. And so think of ways that if it's a perishable item that you're wanting to buy, how can you preserve it, or how can you keep it good so that you can benefit from that bigger buy? The next way that we save money around here is maybe a little bit unpopular, and that is the fact that we do not throw big birthday parties for our kids. We do not invite a bunch of friends, rent a venue, spend a bunch of money on party decorations, balloons, whatnot. My husband and I both agree that while birthday parties are fun, it is a time to spend with family and maybe a close friend as the kids get older, but especially when the kids are young, it's really just about the family. And so we will just have a quiet party at home. We will invite grandparents, great-grandparents, the family members that want to travel, that want to come are welcome to come. I do make a birthday cake for the kids. I will blow up a handful of balloons, that sort of thing. We try to reuse a lot of those decorations. So at this point in time, I have a collection of different colored balloons that the kids can go through and pick, what goes with the theme that they want their cake to be that year. Or even, we have some happy birthday banners that again have been given to us or we bought and we're reusing. So things like that we make it special and make it fun, but it's not a huge to-do. But birthday parties can get expensive. And so if we can do those at home and just let it be our family and let the kids be used to that. Our kids don't expect to get to invite 15 friends over. It's just us and family. And then here in the next few years, as our kids get a little bit older, we have discussed letting them maybe have one friend come and spend the night, if the friend would be willing to do that, or at least come and spend the day and do that sort of thing, where it's a more one-on-one. You get to pick one friend or one family that we are friends with that gets to come and be a part of your birthday. But other than that, we want to keep it pretty quiet. And so that was one way that we have saved a lot of money, and I think that will continue as the kids get older. And kind of bouncing off of that point, another big one is we keep our gifting budget very small. And when I say gifting, I don't just mean for the kids' birthdays. Any gifting that we do for the kids, or even for each other between my husband and I, we do not spend very much money on gifts. Usually for the kids, we have tried to, for whatever the occasion is that we are getting them a gift, we try to choose one thing per child. Some years we spend a little bit more than others, depending on what that child, maybe what they've been asking for, or what is something that we feel like would really be beneficial for them at that time. But we don't say, well, we're going to spend $50 per kid or $100 per kid. We don't set a dollar amount. We just try to choose one thing that is meaningful and go with that. And sometimes that means we spent $20, and sometimes that means we spent $60 on that child. Again, we're not over here keeping score as to which kid we spent more money on. We just try to make it individualized to each kid. And even between my husband and I, like I say, if we do birthday gifts or even anniversary gifts, we typically stay pretty humble in those respects. Several years, my husband and I have both agreed to go out to eat, or maybe have a night away from the kids, let grandparents keep the kids for a night or two, and do that in lieu of buying gifts for each other. So if we go, if we get to go on a special date, then we both know, well, we're not going to spend money on a gift for each other, and we're okay with that. And it's not anything to where either one of us is left disappointed. It's just the understanding that we would rather spend the money on time together than on a gift. Again, going off of personal experience, growing up, my parents, they would get us something for our birthdays. They would do gifts for us, but it was nothing extravagant. It never was. That wasn't my parents' personality, nor were they really financially able to just spend a bunch of money on us. And that was okay. I have absolutely no regrets of that. In fact, some of my fondest memories of the gifts that my parents got me were some of the most inexpensive. So the last point that I want to make today is the fact that we choose not to chase trends and fashions to keep up with the latest and greatest. This can apply to the technology that we use. This can apply to the clothing, the styles that go in and out. Even things like hairstyles, or hairstyles, clothing styles. It can be cars. It can even be decor items. If you're decorating the house, you're going through trends where everybody else is decorating their homes or remodeling. We do not chase the trends. And this is something that, again, comes from an attitude of contentment, that this is what we have. What we have works, and we don't need to just replace just because it would be fun to get something new. When I truly need something, choosing the smartest way to spend my money, whether it is spending more money to get a better item that's going to last me longer, or buying an inexpensive item knowing that it's going to do the job just as well. However that goes, I am happily a few trends behind, and it's okay. That's not something that I'm worried about. That's a lot of money right there, and not having to have the latest and greatest. So anyway, those were the 5 things that I wanted to share with y'all this time. I hope that you found them interesting, maybe made you think of something in your life that you, a way that you could save some money. Be sure and comment and let me know. And if you enjoyed this, please comment and let me know if you like content like this, subscribe to watch for more, and all those sorts of things. So thank y'all, and I hope that y'all have a great rest of your week.